Hey guys, and we're live again. Yeah, I'm a bit on a live stream spray today because um you know a green economy saving the planet is so important to me. And right now the controversy the controversy about Elon Musk, Bitcoin, and Tesla stopping to accept Bitcoin is really hurting the mission. There's really a lot of FUD and misunderstandings out there. So I want to do my best to help you guys understand it, to educate people and get the message out there why we need Bitcoin. Why, yeah, Bitcoin uses a lot of energy, but it's necessary if we want to reach a sustainable energy future. And one guy who made a great response is Galileo Russel from Hyperchange. I love the dude, and it's a really good video, better take than most videos I've seen so far. But still, there's some info that I don't think is quite on point or quite correct. So I'd really like to go through the video with you and my thoughts and some comments. Let's do it.
What up, Hyperchange? The Tesla Bitcoin drama continues. We have a new tweet from Elon Musk saying that Tesla has suspended vehicle purchases using Bitcoin. We are concerned about rapidly increasing use of fossil fuels for Bitcoin mining and transactions, especially with coal.
Yeah, did a response on that comment. I'll link it below after the stream.
Which is the worst emission of any fuel. Cryptocurrency is a good idea on many levels, and we believe it has a promising future, but this cannot come at a great cost to the environment. Tesla will not be selling any Bitcoin, and we intend to use it for transaction as soon as mining transitions to more sustainable energy. We are also looking at other cryptocurrencies that use less than 1% of Bitcoin's energy per transaction. So this is a fascinating change of pace. Tesla shocked the world just a couple months ago when they started announced that they had bought Bitcoin and that they were soon going to be enabling Bitcoin for vehicle purchases, aka you could use Bitcoin to buy your Tesla. This was huge news. Of course, Hyperchange, we're stoked on this. Had the whole Michael Saylor interview about why Tesla should buy Bitcoin and should do this. So then they
great video, by the way. Check that out on Gali's channel.
Do it. Everybody's celebrating. But to be frank, it was a controversial move. And now Elon Musk is going back on the decision, kind of somewhat, but basically rethinking about it and saying, at least for new vehicle purchases, we don't want you to spend Bitcoin. So let's unpack this a little bit. I think the first sort of way to look at this is Bitcoin is a payment method for transactions, and then Bitcoin is a store of value, aka digital gold 2.0. The reason why Tesla and the whole debate happened about why Tesla should get into Bitcoin is because the company had about $20 billion on its balance sheet. This was way more than the company needed to spend. If you have money sitting there with inflation or sort of secret, shadow inflation actually occurring at a rapid rate, you're actually sort of sitting there like a melting ice cube, letting your purchasing power dwindle. So that began the conversation of what sort of assets can we add to our treasury that actually hold or appreciate in value to sort of do the best thing for our shareholders and keep this, war chest of reserves. So Tesla's move is actually, we looked at everything. We're going to move 7% of our cash, 1.5 billion into Bitcoin. Then they also announced they sold a couple $100 million of that to Tesla liquidity. The markets, they're like, yep, Bitcoin's legit, can handle a couple $100 million sale. This is a big time asset that we can use and have on our balance sheet. So
really great analysis. I think that's exactly the thought process that went into Tesla buying Bitcoin. And Michael Saylor probably had a very big impact on this because he's all about, the saving the value of the money, conserving the value of money. But what he does not really talk about, and what I think Elon has not heard and looked into, and Tesla hasn't heard, is basically that the other advantage of a deflationary money is that it basically enables us to go from a quantity. The inflationary system we have is like, we need to grow fast, we need quantity over quality, we need to produce because we need to spend all money immediately because it's a melting ice cube, as Gali said. We need to spend the money. And a deflationary asset has exactly the opposite characteristic. It says, okay, if I keep my money, it's gonna be worth more. So I really need to make valuable investments that really grow faster than the deflationary growth of Bitcoin is. And for purchases, this means I just not launch a new phone just to launch a new phone, but I really need to have good features at good quality and good long-lasting quality to actually make people spend their Bitcoin and buy it. And that's why we need Bitcoin for a sustainable future. As long as we're tied to the centralized inflationary money, we have no chance to be sustainable. And Bitcoin is the only asset, the only money, the only reserve currency that can do that. For practical reasons, you still might to want to build a inflationary fiat currency on top of Bitcoin, but you need the deflationary, secure, decentral anchor like Bitcoin. And frankly, there's only Bitcoin to this day. No better solution has been proposed to get there. So I think Tesla understood that there's great potential in Bitcoin, that it can basically save their assets, that it can protect them from the craziness that the Feds around the world, especially the US Fed, are doing right now and printing money and basically driving the economy, the monetary system into a wall. That point Tesla understood. But what I don't think they understood yet, or what Elon probably has not looked into yet, is that Bitcoin is fundamental to their mission to get the world to green energy. And because they don't have that piece of information, they were so easily swayed. So basically, they were convinced only by the monetary aspect, saving their money, and not by the real value that Bitcoin gives to their mission.
So that was one part of it. But then the transactions to buy Bitcoin for a Tesla, that's a lot more of a micro transaction. That's actually using it as a payment method, way different than sort of this theoretical store of value use case. And so now that is what Tesla's halting. And it is very interesting because if you look at, this thread, Tesla will not be selling any Bitcoin, and we intend to use it for transaction as soon as mining transitions to more sustainable energy. So Elon Musk is not, throwing Bitcoin out here and saying it's horrible. He's just saying like, whoa, something's going on here. And what is going on? The energy trend over the past few months is insane. So this is actually a chart in a video that I made a few months ago. You can see energy usage of the network was plateauing right around 75 to 80 terawatt hours per year. Had it gone up?
Yeah, I already addressed this in my previous video, but these charts are not correct because basically this, for some reason, the upper estimate exploded, but the baseline estimate and the average estimate did not explode. So it's probably an error in the data, not really an energy explosion. And also explain why basically the energy expenditure for Bitcoin is justified. So I'll not go into this in detail, but just check out my last two videos.
Up in about 2.5, 3 years, despite the Bitcoin network soaring in value. So you have energy usage flat, but the Bitcoin network soaring. So it's like, wow, it's getting way more efficient. We can handle, dedicating 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 basis points of our energy, global energy consumption to running this Bitcoin network. And so, but now what happened is the energy consumption of the Bitcoin network is spiking. And so that is what Elon Musk posted as his next tweet in this thread.
Yeah, it isn't. And keep in mind, the energy use of Bitcoin is not per transaction. The energy use of Bitcoin is directly correlated to the security of the Bitcoin network. So a spike in energy would mean the security of the Bitcoin network spikes, which is a good thing. I mean, the energy use is suboptimal, but all security is energy. Even if it's a bank safe, you can store your money in an envelope under your mattress, least safe. Buy a little safe for your home, buy a big bank safe, build Fort Knox. More security always means more energy. And the genius about Bitcoin is that they directly coupled energy consumption to security, and via the hash rate made it transparent, that you always know how secure is the network right now. That's the genius of Bitcoin. And everybody who tries, even most people in cryptocurrency that are now saying, oh, we need proof of stake, have not understood the genius about proof of work. Proof of work is not a bug, it's a feature. And it's the one feature that makes Bitcoin suitable to be the world reserve currency.
Thread is, look at the spiking energy consumption. This is insane. So this is, and I love this quote of, when the facts change, I change my mind. And so that's what Elon did. He's like, wait.
Yeah, but the facts didn't change. This is why this is so strange and atypical. This is why I say the only explanation I have is that basically Elon has not looked deeply enough into it. And he admits he makes errors sometimes. In this case, basically, they went into Bitcoin without having fully understood it, and then went out of Bitcoin. I mean, it didn't went out, but they stopped supporting Bitcoin because they were like, oh, whoa, it uses coal and whatever. And basically, they fell for the FUD because they didn't really have the first principles understanding of Bitcoin. So basically, Elon failed here because he did not approach Bitcoin like Elon usually approaches topics.
Bitcoin was stagnating in energy consumption, but now it's soaring. So let's hit pause and take a look at this and see how the network evolves. I love that. I kind of wanted to take a moment to say the fact, Elon's getting a lot of hate in the crypto community. I think that's sort of an illusion. Like, I've loved Bitcoin for almost a decade now. I think it's awesome. I love Tesla. I love them.
Great take that you love it, but I don't love that take because it was not reacting to real information. It was reacting to thought and reacting to thought that was not new thought. So this is completely atypical. This is not reacting to new information on Tesla's side here. But great that you still love Bitcoin. And I'm also not sure, Gali, if you watch this, you probably won't, but if you watch this, did you understand Bitcoin really? Or are you just also in there for the Michael Saylor aspect? Or are you really in there for the green energy aspect of Bitcoin?
Them for very different reasons. And I love that their worlds are colliding to some degree. But at the same time, it's like Elon is actually doing amazing things for Bitcoin. Tesla bought Bitcoin. This is a super bold, ahead of the curve move. They're allowing Bitcoin for purchases.
Yeah, he did amazing things for Bitcoin. And now he wrecked it all with this back and forth.
And now the way they're thinking through it and saying, like, what is the best solution here? I love this sort of struggle and fight through every scenario for Tesla to find the best sort of payment method and technology. And if you remember, Elon.
Yeah, but that's the strange thing, because basically I thought they had thought it through and found Bitcoin as the best solution, which it undoubtedly is. But they're not like, maybe it's not the best solution, which just shows me that they haven't understood it.
Musk was a co-founder of PayPal. He had X.com, which had this whole vision of bringing the banking system online. So he's obviously fascinated with this idea of cryptocurrencies. And that's why even in this thing, this note, they say crypto.
Actually, that might be the downside, because Elon is like thinking in the transactions. He understands transactions, making it easier, transferring money, making that decentralized. But I don't think he understands the fundamental economic basis. And it's okay, because Elon is not an economist. So, and I don't think he's very interested in basic economies. But that's, in my opinion, why he didn't understand it, because he views it like PayPal, or we just do transactions. We need to have as little transactional energy as possible. And he does not understand why we need all this energy to have the network secure, and why the energy use, while it is definitely bad for the environment, it is worth the cost, because the benefits far outweigh the cost, and why there's no other solution than Bitcoin, at least to date. And this just shows me that they violated the first investing principle. They invested in Bitcoin without having it fully understood. And now they're pulling a little bit back on the investment because, it's a new information. It's not really new information. So they're basically, they didn't think it through. That's exactly the problem here.
Cryptocurrency is a good idea on many levels, and we believe it has a promising future. And if you listen to the last conference call, Elon Musk and Zach Kirkhorn were also dabbling, saying, we are looking at crypto products, even though we don't have anything to announce at this time. And Hyperchange, getting so pumped, is like, wait, we could have Bitcoin mining in our power walls and essentially allow us to monetize these energy assets in a new way by having, taking advantage of this unique buyer in the energy markets, which is Bitcoin. And the whole theory that I had there was piggybacking off of this research report from ARC Research saying Bitcoin is key to an abundant, clean energy future. We believe that the energy asset owners of today can become the essential Bitcoin miners of tomorrow. Everybody with solar on their roof is an energy asset owner of today. And so this is the paper put out by Square and by Cathie Wood, and had a comment from Elon Musk saying it's true that Bitcoin incentivizes renewable energy. So there's so many different puzzle pieces here. My biggest theory is that we still have many shoes to drop in this saga, and Tesla and the cryptocurrency, story has a bunch more chapters left to unfold. And even beyond that,
yeah, I hope so too. And I hope the next chapter is that basically Elon looks into it, understands, and is like, oh, guys, sorry, I got fooled. I was like high or whatever, and now actually we enable purchasing Teslas with Bitcoin again. I made a mistake. That's hopefully what will happen.
We're just talking about Bitcoin, but Elon Musk says, do you want Tesla to accept Doge? This was just 2 days ago.
Oh man, no. Doge is a shitcoin. Doge is a meme coin. It's also proof of work. So even if you believe in proof of stake, you don't even gain anything with Doge. If Doge grows to the same level as Bitcoin, it will use the same amount of money because it's proof of work. More users on the network, more security means more energy consumption. So Doge is not more efficient than Bitcoin. No, it isn't.
He puts out this poll on Twitter, which gets 111,000 retweets that almost 4 million people vote for, with an overwhelming 78.2% yes. So now you're like, wait, is Tesla going to accept Dogecoin? Dogecoin has a smaller environmental footprint per transaction.
No, That's I don't know how often I have to explain this. When they calculate the per transaction energy use, they make the big error that they say we take the whole network and calculate per transaction. No, Bitcoin uses not much energy per transaction. Bitcoin uses a lot of energy for the hashing, which is for the security. The transaction does not take a lot of energy. You could replace the whole Bitcoin network with 5 Raspberry Pis and still run everything. It just would not be as secure. Security is energy. And Doge uses little energy, not because it's more efficient per transaction or something. That was a shitty insecure. That's why it uses so little energy.
Action than Bitcoin. Side note on Dogecoin, I do want to make a whole video about it, but Dogecoin is fascinating. Started as a meme or a joke, but is actually a proof of work cryptocurrency that
Yeah, it is a proof of work cryptocurrency, which means it's a waste of energy because proof of work is more users, more security, more compute power, more security. So, and this is a winner takes all principle because basically the biggest one wins out because it's the most secure one and the others are just computing for energy. And because of the giant energy use of proof of work, you cannot have parallel currencies of proof of work once they reach a certain level. You can have only one. And that needs to be Bitcoin. So all the other proof of work coins are just distractions. They are the waste of energy, not Bitcoin.
That, believe it or not, works very similar to Bitcoin. And it's, this weird sort of group psychology thing that if enough people believe it has value, it will have value. Elon Musk has this weird theory.
Yeah, it might. And that would be dangerous because that would destroy the mission of Bitcoin. If the crypto market does not concentrate at some point on one coin, one proof of work coin, like Bitcoin, probably Bitcoin, if it's splintered, like I go for Doge, if that continues, the mission will fail. The cryptocurrency mission to be successful needs people together at some point in time around one network. That's the important point. So this is just a distraction. So what he's doing with hyping Doge, focusing on Doge, downplaying Bitcoin, talking fun about Bitcoin is hurting the mission to transition to green energy.
I don't know. I love Elon. I don't know if I believe this one, that the most entertaining outcome is the most likely. The most entertaining outcome for humanity is for this meme cryptocurrency to actually become adopted as a real cryptocurrency. I would argue that the fact that it's a meme almost makes it more likely to be adopted because it's easier, it's more approachable, it's Dogecoin, it's fun, it's cheap, it's only $1, it's 50 cents. Like, I think there's a lot of truth and theoretical stuff to what he's saying, but we're getting in a very weird place. Just theoretically, like the Shiba Inu coin that popped up and it's worth billions of dollars all of a sudden because it's a copy of Dogecoin. Like, where does it end? Or is this sort of a Pandora's box has been unlocked in
Yeah, that's exactly a problem. We need to focus on Bitcoin, guys.
Humanity of whatever we decide has value will have value. And the internet zeitgeist has sort of this troll inertia of where it wants to make the most ridiculous thing be a financial security. I don't know. I really don't get what's happening here, to be honest. Like, I'm trying to wrap my head around all of this. And, for what it's worth, I own no Dogecoin, but I have all my Bitcoin, super bullish on Bitcoin. I have a bunch of Ethereum, super bullish on Ethereum.
Just a word. I also have some Ethereum. Ethereum has great use cases, but Ethereum is not really decentralized or secure. So you must understand, Ethereum is great for smart contracting and that stuff, although that's also being added to Bitcoin right now. So Ethereum might have really good use cases, but it's just not the one use case that Bitcoin has, that it can be the money of the future. So that you have to keep that in mind when you talk about Ethereum, that it's not comparable to Bitcoin at all. It's a completely different game. Both are good in my opinion. I have some good points, but it's just like Bitcoin is money, can be a reserve currency, can replace the dollar and gold, and Ethereum is like a tool. It's like PayPal. So two completely different things.
I love those and just the vision of crypto. Dogecoin, I'm still trying to wrap my head around. The only theory that I have for Dogecoin, that's why it's bullish, is that Elon Musk will create a self-fulfilling prophecy where the world uses or Mars uses Dogecoin or it becomes a true part of the financial system. And then therefore it is worth something. So I don't know. I actually think betting on Elon bringing Dogecoin to the masses isn't a dumb bet. So that's why I don't make fun of people for buying Doge. And, people have been buying Doge at 2 cents. And I was saying they're idiots because it was a meme cryptocurrency. And look who's laughing now. They are. So I give major props to the people who bought
Man, Elon, please don't. Stop the Doge.
Dogecoin, even though it seems dumb and ridiculous to a lot of people. So back to this energy consumption thing. This article by Nick Carter, I think he's someone everybody should follow, thought leader in the Bitcoin energy space. How much energy does Bitcoin actually consume? So Bitcoin consumes about 110, maybe now up to 160 terawatt hours per year, 0.5, let's call it 0.75% of all energy production. So this, out of all the energy on Earth, a little bit less than 1% of it is used to run the Bitcoin network. So yes, that's a huge amount. Yes, that's a lot. It's kind of the equivalent of some huge metropolitan city. But then you think about, and this is where the debate gets super complex. Just because it's using energy doesn't mean it's polluting. It could be using renewable energy that would just have to go to waste. And so that's what this whole Cathie Wood paper is Bitcoin is this unique energy buyer, is sort of the great equalizer, allowing renewable energy to have to sell at this sort of, internet market rate, turn energy into currency. That's what cryptocurrency is, this magic thing that's going to unlock a more rapid transition to these new energy assets by increasing the ROI and cash flow of them because of this new unique energy buyer they can tap into. So I love that theory, but I don't think that justifies everything. I still think you have to come back to how many banks do you see in your hometown? How many lights on do they have? How many humans do they have polluting working there? I mean, how much, like my bank, I have Bank of America, and sometimes I still can't transfer between my personal and my business account. They just don't. That's like really hard to do for them. I don't know why. So I have to go into the bank in person to do that. So I have to drive. I mean, I drive my Tesla there, but so my point is Bitcoin is this idea of, humans need a ledger to store value. Value over currency is a method to store value over time. It's a critical piece of how our society functions. I'm going to work a lot. I'm going to keep this value in the metaverse, and I'm going to spend that value when I want it. That's
all great points. Love you, Gali.
Incredible unlock to the efficiency of the simulation and just how humanity works. And so it's a very important part of our system. And I'd like to bring up these tweets by Sam Corris. Energy consumption of humanity is always going up. It's always booming. Like humanity is like, this bacteria that's growing on a petri dish like crazy, and we're just consuming more and more energy. That's just how humanity is going to go. And that's why I think we shouldn't be, looking critically at things like Bitcoin that use a lot of energy, or we should, but we should also be looking at the ways we can produce energy sustainably. That's why I love Tesla, and I'm so passionate about it, because I see a decentralized runaway effect where energy can be monetized into currency. It's, it's like water. It's going to flow downhill. That's going to happen. And so you better hope that renewable energy is the cheapest form, and that is what people are incentivized to do.
The renewable energy already is the cheapest form. I mean, there's some old coal and gas plants that are already basically paid off and at the end of their life that can run for a while and produce cheap energy. But on all new energy generation, renewables are the cheapest form. And Bitcoin is thus driving towards renewable energy, not driving towards fossil fuels.
Now, why is Elon Musk also beefing? Because the Bitcoin's network energy consumption is going back up. Guess what else his third tweet in this tweet storm is? The coal miners. So now all of a sudden there's data showing that private equity firms are buying up coal plants to spin them up to participate in the Bitcoin networks, because it's so...
Yeah, again, it's FUD. I mean, yeah, might happen for a while, but these plants are old. They'll be going away, and the carbon tax can help there, but it's FUD, and stories like this have been going on for years. This is not new information.
Lucrative to, Bitcoin is energy. So if I'm a coal plant that's off, nobody wants my dirty power, but I'm like, wait, it's still cheap enough to where I could get some Bitcoin for it and make it an ROI, and some douchebag PE firm goes and buys it and does it. And, this is some MBA who wants to pollute the planet. That sucks, and it sucks. It's ruining Bitcoin for everybody, but it's also like...
But this is only possible because we don't have carbon pricing, because we let people pollute the environment and basically steal resources. That's the key problem, not Bitcoin.
Eventually these renewable energy assets will be cheaper than coal. This is just sort of a blip on the timeline of like how we get there. And it's sort of an inevitability. And that's why I think it's so important we invest in renewable energy, because it's like, okay, if we're going to have all these legacy energy assets that are all around the world, there's coal plants, there's all these super dirty ways to produce energy. And the second that energy is monetizable, there is sort of an economic incentive to bring these dead assets back to life and monetize them for a little bit while it makes sense. And so I just think we're going to have to accept that, frankly, as part of this transition. And that's the good and the bad of Bitcoin turning energy into currency instantly with anybody with an internet connection. So here's another chart from Sam Corris, how the world's energy usage of coal is actually plateauing. So it's like, this is more evidence showing that, yeah, we might just use coal for a little bit to do a little bit of Bitcoin, but eventually it'll get phased out. And while coal's flatlining, sure, it is huge, way bigger than renewables at 40,000 terawatt hours. Look at wind soaring up to 3,500 terawatt hours, in just the past decade has added 3,000 terawatt hours, expanding faster than ever. Look at solar up to 1,600 terawatt hours, expanding faster than ever. So we are in the midst of this incredible transition that Tesla's at the forefront of, and that renewable energies are taking off. There is I think the greatest miracle of my lifetime has been witnessing solar become cheaper than coal. And that, like, you know, green energy doesn't matter if it's cool or not, doesn't matter if we care about the environment, it's economically incentivizing, you know, construction of solar farms versus coal. And that's what is going to eventually be the backbone of our energy system. And that's why all cryptocurrencies that use a lot of energy will be, as long as they don't use too much, will able to be supported sustainably. Anyway, fascinating. This is like, I've been doing so much scheming on crypto in the behind the scenes. Like, do I want to move some of my Bitcoin into Ethereum because I think that's blowing up because of what Gary Vee's doing, or is Bitcoin?
Yeah. Okay, that's the part that I don't want to show. I explained already in my other videos why Bitcoin and only Bitcoin. Anyways, Gali, great take. Some points where I don't agree. Keep on the good work, and if you watch this video, head over to Gali's channel, give him a like, subscribe to him if you want. He's a great guy. Thanks for watching. Till next time. Bye bye.